Let me just say real quick, everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get past this. Everybody stop freaking out. I know everything has been a bit crazy lately. Coronavirus has spread to what seems like the ends of the earth. But especially here where I am, if you don't know where I am, I live in Italy right now, which is currently the second most infected country in the whole pandemic, in the whole breakout. We have like it's some sort of competition. We have the second most infections. No, we have the second most confirmed cases in Italy. The last I checked, it's about 24,000 cases, which is nothing to laugh at. But I thought I would address some of the misconceptions that people are hearing about what the current situation in Italy right now is looking like. I've gotten several friends and family members reaching out to me, asking, is this true? Is that true? We heard this, we heard that. I thought it would be good to address those. First, let me just let me just say, when the news broke of Italy being in lockdown, my wife and I, of course, we were not actually in Italy. We have a home here. We live here. Um, and I'll get into more of that later, but we were not here. Okay? So we were traveling outside of the country. We were in Ireland, and it was not something that we did last minute. We had paid for our trip to Ireland. We had paid for our Airbnbs and plane tickets and all of that stuff several weeks ago, long before any of this coronavirus outbreak stuff was even making headlines. This was something we planned for in advance, and it was a good chunk of money, and we did not want to see that money go to waste. We had been following up until the point where we left. We had been following very closely, and trying to be very mindful and make the wisest decision of should we go, should we not go. We were leaning either way. Seriously, you could have blew on us and we would have fallen over. We were very close to not going, but we decided, you know what? When we left, at the time of our departure, Italy was not quarantined. It was not in any sort of lockdown at all, and we decided, okay, I think we're past the worst part. I think we should be fine to just go ahead and go to Ireland and enjoy our trip that we have already paid for. And my wife had already taken time off work to go to. So, we decided to go. And of course, after being there for a couple days, the I have the worst timing possible. 2 days we're in Ireland, and the news of Italy's health situation is just going straight downhill. It's just going bad, right? And we start freaking out. We're like, okay, how are we gonna get how are we gonna get back? Okay, because the first news that we got was that there were red zones in the major outbreak areas of Italy. Milan was one, and Venice was one. We're in the northern area, so those two kind of really are the ones that affected us the most. The airport that we were flying back into from our trip was in Venice, and Venice was surrounded by red zones. There was no way we were going to get back in. So we decided, okay, we're going to fly into a different airport. And we bought those tickets. Then we hear like probably like a few hours later, we hear, okay, it's not just these red zones anymore. It's just the entire country is locked down. So of course my mind's going like mind blown, right? How are we going to get back? What are we going to do? I have no idea what to expect. I've never experienced anything like this before in my life. So we end up buying different tickets. We had, it was a whole thing. It was a whole thing, right? So we eventually flew back, got back in, came in through Marco Polo, which is the major airport in Venice, and let's just I need to address something that it really stood out to me. It kind of bothered me a little bit. The first thing that we do when our plane landed in Venice, we parked at the gate, normal airport stuff. We walked on the I don't know what it's called, that 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 thing that connects to the airplane, and then you walk out into the airport on that. We walked out, and we walk into a desolated airport. I mean, just nobody there. There's usually hundreds of people just going through, and there was nobody there. Our plane was the only plane that had came in like probably in a few hours. And we form a line. There's police there. There is Red Cross volunteers. You know, everybody's got the mask on, whole shebang. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is pretty serious. It's pretty serious. There's a there's a these they have a roped off, you know, when they want to treat people like cattle, and like tell the herd where to go, what direct they've got it all roped off, right? And they're handing us papers. These are forms for us to fill out, and to declare why we're here. Why would you possibly be wanting to enter into this country right now? We had a good enough reason, being that this is our home. This is where we live. We need to get back home. So we get these forms, and we're told to fill them out with a pen. Now, I don't know about you. You're probably more prepared than I am, but a pen, a writing utensil, is not it's not at the top of my packing list. If you understand what I'm saying, when I'm packing for a vacation, I don't immediately think of, oh geez, I gotta bring a pen. But I gotta bring a pencil. Where's my highlighters? You know, I'm not thinking like that. I'm thinking I'm gonna bring the camera. I'm gonna bring some fruit snacks. I love fruit snacks. I'm gonna I, maybe I'll bring my computer, and I'm thinking about what clothes I'm gonna wear. What's the weather like? I'm not thinking about a writing utensil, so I don't have a pen, right? Upon hearing this, that there were several people that did not have pens with them, the airport decides, okay, we will provide you with pens. There is already a table laid out over here with pens on them that other people have touched and filled out their forms with. At this point, when we got back into the country, it had already been on lockdown for about 48 hours, and I don't know how many people have touched those pens, you know? My problem is the second most infected country with this virus that is spreading like wildflowers. Do those spread violently? I don't know. I meant to say wildfire. The second most infected country is passing out pins. The first thing that people do when they get in the country, hey, you want to share a pin that hundreds of other people have used? This shows a fundamental misunderstanding of what is happening here. It's a contagious virus. And I know the risk of dying is not all that high. And if you want my personal opinion, I'm not really worried about the coronavirus. Even being in Italy, I'm not worried about it. But to show the people that you don't even have the capability to deal with this by passing out pins, that everybody's hands have touched, and who knows where those hands have been, who knows where they have been, and what they've touched, and if they even had the virus. The most they did at the airport was check our temperature, and and that was our story of getting back in. But anybody who's ever spent any time in Italy at all, you know that Italy is going to do what Italy wants to do, and there's nothing that you can do to change that. Now, I can't speak for major metropolitan areas, huge cities here in Italy. I can't speak for what it's like daily life right now. I can tell you in the town that I live in, uh, it's honestly like nothing's changed. Okay, I haven't seen police officers at all outside. My neighbors, both of them yesterday while I was mowing the lawn, my neighbor over here was doing some yard work. My neighbor over here was hanging clothes to dry, and my neighbor over here was outside doing stuff with his garden. I mean, it's like nothing's changed. Okay? Um some of the rules that we have to follow are pretty ridiculous. I don't I don't I laugh at them because of what happened in the airport. I'm just like, you guys are not taking this seriously at all. You're not taking this seriously. If you're not even going to stop sharing pins, I don't know what to think of you. Okay? Um but there's some misconceptions about what's happening out here, and I just wanted to put your mind at ease. It's probably nothing like what you thought, because me being out of the country when all this went down, my mind went a million different directions, and it was like, I don't know what's going to happen. Literally, when I was in the airport, I we have to stand 1 meter apart, because that's a law right now, a policy that we have to follow in this country. Another one is, and it's quite silly, um, we cannot sit two people in the same row of a vehicle. So that being said, if me and my wife want to go somewhere, or we need to go to the grocery store, uh, we have to sit one person driving, one in the back seat, which is it's like, well, you're right. You're still the same distance. I don't know if I don't know if that's gonna be saying saving any lives. But hey, you know what, Italy? Sure. You want us to share a pin while we're at it? I'm not sure. It's just, um, some of these rules are pretty ridiculous, but they've been put in place for a reason. And even though they're ridiculous, the coronavirus is nothing to scoff at. It's nothing to say, even though I don't have any personal worries about it, that doesn't mean I'm going to be out there breaking all of the policies that have been put in place to keep everyone around me and myself safe. Um, it's not as bad as you think. Okay, when I was in the airport, my nose itched really bad, and we had just got here. I was so scared to scratch it. You know what I'm saying? I was like, they were waiting to inspect us, check our temperature, check our papers that we had filled out, and my nose itched so bad. But I was sitting there, and all I could picture was that scene from Monsters Inc. when that dude walked out of the door, with a child's sock on his back, and a bunch of hazmat dudes came out of nowhere and tackled the dude down. I thought that, the moment I touched to touch my nose, I thought I was gonna get tackled. I was gonna get quarantined. Uh, say goodbye to my wife and everybody. You're not gonna see me again for a few weeks. But it's nothing like that. People are just going on with their lives. There's no public gatherings. A majority of the restaurants are closed. I'll talk about that at another time, but just know, all we can do during these times is follow follow what leadership tells us to do. Okay, keep in mind who you're putting in that authority position. A lot of people want to think they're there, and they want to tell other people this is what you have to do. I would listen to public health officials and people in leadership positions in those areas. I would definitely listen to the policies that they have put in place. But just put your mind at ease that I'm here in the second most infected country in the entire world, and honestly, I don't have any worries. I know this is gonna pass. I know that they're gonna figure this thing out. All we got to do is wait. It's just a matter of time. Just do the best you can. Hey there, viewer. Good to see that you stuck around to the end of the video. Actually, I tell you what, I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but you might as well continue down this rabbit hole by watching one of these videos. Yeah, go ahead, watch them.